Welcome back to the Rally. Brooke Fletcher, Danny K, Joshua Perry. Guys, it's time to switch gears and talk some Super Bowl here because the big game is upon us. And a guy that's pretty familiar with Super Bowls is former Pro Bowler K.J. Wright, and he joins us now from Radio Row. K.J., great to see you. How's it going? How's the atmosphere out there?
Oh, it's so much energy out here. The stars are out. I've seen Shannon Sharp, Ray Lewis, LT, Pat McAfee. Everyone's literally out here covering the Super Bowl. Former players, current players are coming by. And so it's a lot of energy out here, and everybody's ready for Sunday.
Hey, and you're one of those stars that's out there at Super Bowl.
So.
Come on, don't sell yourself short there, KJ. All right,
KJ Wright's out here too.
There you go. There you go. We love that.
Love that.
All right, well, let's talk about the big game here. I'm sure you've gone over every single aspect of the game and this matchup, but what's the biggest question that you have?
The biggest question I have is for Steve Wilks, and what is your game plan? I just look at Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. Each and every season, AFC Championship, Super Bowl, these guys are always connecting on a very high level. And so my question is, what's your game plan in stopping number 87 and 15? What I would personally like for him to do is to go back and watch the Super Bowl when the Tampa Bay Buccaneers played the Kansas City Chiefs and watch how they beat up Travis Kelce at the line of scrimmage. Watch how they pressed him in man-to-man coverage, drop a defensive lineman to his side. You have got to force him to go somewhere else on this football field, because if these guys have just an inch, a centimeter of space, they're going to connect at a very, very high level. And so I'm excited to see the game plan he has with Travis Kelce, try to find a way to eliminate him and force Rashid Rice or Valdez-Scantling to beat him.
Yeah, I think it's a really good question there, because you know who the two known guys who have showed up in Super Bowls are for Kansas City. But I'd look at the other side for the Niners and Kyle Shanahan as an offensive play caller. And I think that this is a game where you want to rely on your run game. Christian McCaffrey and what you can do there, get Debo involved in that. But number one, it's going to protect a young quarterback who we know is really good but has not really been in a moment like this in his career. But the second thing is, the best way to defend Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce is to keep them off the field, eat up the clock a little bit. Will Kyle Shanahan have the patience to get that done in this game?
JP, he has to. He has to. This is his moment. He has the team. He has the roster. These guys are healthy. Do not make the same mistakes that you made in the past. Trust the process. You got to the Super Bowl by leaning on Christian McCaffrey. You got to the Super Bowl by leaning on this offensive line. If things are shaky early in the game, it's okay. As long as you're close, as long as you're within 10 points, trust the run game, trust the screen game. Do not put this game into the hands of Brock Purdy to throw it 30 to 40 times a game. That is not the recipe that you want facing a Patrick Mahomes. So run the clock, run screens, execute on third down, keep those guys on the sideline, have them cold, because if you're out here trying to air the ball out to compete with a Patrick Mahomes, you're going to be disappointed in the results.
Well, you just talked about all the talent that's on the Niners and the talent on the Chiefs, so I've got to see at which side you're leaning here. The Niners favored by 2. What do you think is going to happen?
Here's the thing. The San Francisco 49ers has the best roster in the NFL. From top to bottom, 9 Pro Bowlers, a gang of Hall of Famers. They are the better team. But no one on this football planet has the it factor that Patrick Mahomes has. I just look at him. He is never rattled. He can do the little things well. He can do the big things well. And no matter the situation, no matter how many points he is down, Patrick Mahomes continuously finds a way to execute. And I truly believe this Super Bowl Sunday, he's going to add the 3rd Super Bowl to his resume. The guy just has all of the juice. He has an it factor. Him and Andy Reid, you don't know what they're going to come out with on this game plan. And so I love this Niner team and what they bring to the table. But once again, I do not think this is their year.
All right, KJ, you mentioned Steve Wilks. Let's talk about the head coaching matchup here. You've got Andy Reid, who's won a couple of the Super Bowl titles here. Kyle Shanahan has been to a couple of Super Bowls. He's come up short in the past. So as you look at who has the edge and why, where are you going?
It's Andy Reid. The man is cooler than a cucumber. You just see him with that big jacket on, calling those plays. It's like he can do no wrong as a play caller. And we've seen Kyle Shanahan, honestly, since we go back to the Super Bowl, when he lost to the Patriots, just when he needs to run the football, he chooses to pass it, and vice versa. We saw him these last 2 weeks get off to slow starts with his offense. And so Kyle Shanahan is the best play caller I've personally ever played, but it always seems to show up in these big moments, these big matchups, that he just gets a little impatient and out of character when it comes to his style of play calling. And so Andy Reid, in my eyes, he's just one of the guys that just always does the little things right. He always leans on number 15. And those guys, their dynamic duo is going to be on full display. And I think that Andy Reid most definitely has the upper hand on Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah, and he's got the power stash, right? Like, give him some credit for that nice mustache he has.
Nice.
Okay, so, yeah, it's good.
cool.
It's strong. The mustache game is strong for Andy Reid. Give him some credit there. Okay, so
Yes.
listen, right? Okay, so we know that we have two innovative head coaches here, right? KJ, and then they're both of these teams are featuring explosive offense, but you were just talking about game plans just a minute ago. Kyle Shanahan has to run the clock. So with that, do you expect this to be a high-scoring game?
Brooke, I have this a 28-24 ball game. I expect a lot of scoring. I love both of these offenses. They were the Niners were top 5 when it came to passing the ball, when it came to running the ball. Whenever they get in the red zone, they have something creative, whether it's a fly sweep to Debo or just hand it to Christian McCaffrey and he does this thing. And obviously on the other side of the football, they're going to have something fancy, something cute, to where the Kansas City Chiefs just find a way to get 6 points instead of 3. And so I definitely expect a high-scoring ball game. It's with the talent of the Niners defense, with the talent of the Chiefs defense. It's going to be a game where we see a lot of points. I'm really curious to see the field of this Las Vegas Raiders stadium. It's known to be slippery. It's known for guys slip and fall with this grass. And so hopefully that's not a factor, because if that isn't, it's going to be a lot of points on the board.
Yeah, you're talking about both defenses being super good. And in this total, I agree with you. It's going to be a high-scoring game. But personally, I think most of the scoring comes in the first half. I think the defenses are so good that they adjust come the second half. Not to mention the 49ers #1 in the first half in offense, and the Chiefs not far behind, 7th across the league in first half offense. So I do expect there to be a lot of points on the board. I just think most of it, especially recency, we saw what happened in the past couple games. I think most of it is going to come in the first half.
First half over.
The first half over is my favorite play
and then KJ mentioned something I talked about earlier in the week, but I'm looking at the field as well. And it was a storyline last year, but this has been an issue the NFL needs to solve. Player safety, obviously, but the quality of the football game. Super Bowl's got to be the best turf out there, so I'll be looking at that as well, KJ.
All right. Well, KJ, we appreciate.
Yeah, JP.
Yeah, go ahead. No. Go ahead, KJ.
Oh, I was saying, JP, we met with the vice president of player health and safety, and we definitely brought that up to him. And so when you're in these matchups, the game of your life, the game of these fans' lives, you have got to make sure this is a non-factor. These teams work too hard. The NFL has too much money, and you have got to make sure that the playing surface is 100%. And so don't just come to Vegas because it's Vegas. Go to a field to where you know it's safe, you know it won't be a factor. And so if we see this become an issue this ball game, I believe there's going to be a lot of people. No, there are going to be a lot of people thoroughly upset.
All right, that's star KJ Wright. Gotta give you the star there, KJ. Yeah, you know, you can catch his podcast, KJ All Day, wherever you get your podcasts, and you can also hear him on Seattle's ESPN 710 AM. KJ Wright, we always appreciate you stopping by. Have fun at the Super Bowl, all right?
I will. Thank you, guys.